Welcome back to the Tomahawk. I'm Mike. Matt's up top. Justin's on the bottom. We're going to talk about the Hawks, and most importantly, we're going to talk about the NHL trade deadline, which is we've been talking about it. It's great. It's a lot of fun, but we'll get right into it. Hawks played Columbus twice, beat them twice. A lot of people talk about Columbus being a tough team. I think they suck. They've always sucked up until recently. I think they've had a good team for like maybe a year. We could maybe even say 95 games out of their whole history of their organization. But either way, we beat them today. You could see the disgust in Patrick Laine's face tonight after he scored that coast-to-coast goal because he knew his team was going to win no matter how good or how much of an effort that he gave. So, Matt, starting with you, what did you think of the series?
I think it was must-wins, both of them. They got them, which was good. It was game one. I thought the first 4 minutes were, oh, boy. And I keep hearing that Coach Colleton took his time out and they're making him a hero and they're going to give him the Jack Adams. I thought he was pretty bad. They were pretty bad after that timeout, and I think the Jackets just kind of kill themselves with the penalties. And I do. And I think they're giving a little too much credit to the coach. But
that was planned. That was planned on Colleton's part.
Oh, yeah. It's just the Jackets. I'm sure Tortorella even tonight just gave it to him these were two games they could have easily won. Yeah, in my opinion. Yeah.
He's probably eating bricks right now. Cussing out some poor journalist.
Fighting Domi. I guarantee you.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that if I was him.
You got to worry about the old man then.
Yeah.
Don't touch my boy.
It amazes me how much that guy's stock has fallen. You remember when he got drafted, it was like Max Domi.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'd take his old man at this point over him.
Same thing. Yeah.
Man, I wouldn't fight any of them, dude.
No.
He's got
definitely not.
No. He's got that. He has this. Because Ty was a strong guy. He was strong, but he was small, but he was a really strong guy. And Max was throwing Connor Murphy around a little bit, dude.
Oh, he ragdolled him. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was like, holy smoke.
Yeah.
And he's like, whatever. I'm just gonna let him do this. They could take their 4-minute penalty.
His teammates, not one of them came in to help him out. Like I'm like,
no, not at all.
Fly by, and I'm like, dude. Your freaking teammate, get over there and get him off him. Get not the linesmen. The two linesmen had to break it up, but team, I'd be all over that guy. I don't care if it was Max or Ty Domi, I'd get my ass kicked, but I'm still gonna try.
Yeah, and we'll pound the sticks on the side on the bench, for you afterwards as they're carting you off.
Thank you. Yeah,
for what that's worth, you see some guy get his head caved in, and they're tapping their sticks for him.
Like was his face caved in.
Matt's a killer. Matt's a mess.
we have a team of Toivo Teravainens. That's why we don't have a team of we don't have any tough guys on our team, man. I'm not saying there isn't any toughness, because obviously Duncan Keith is a really tough guy, and I would think that Connor Murphy could defend himself.
Tough.
Yeah. But I agree with you. I think somebody should have stepped in to try and get him off of him.
Well, in that first game also, we were really out shooting those guys. Like,
right.
I think we were up like 10 shots on these guys. And
I think it was like 15-3 at one point.
What's that?
I think it was like 15-3 at one point.
Yeah, they were bad. And their goalie kept them in it. And he's actually a pretty decent goalie. A lot of people don't give him a lot of credit, but
yeah.
But still, the Hawks led up, and the Jackets almost caught him in shots, and I'm like, oh, man. And then Laine scores late, and it's like, oh, geez.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they finished it, and they got the
held on.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful goal, though, man, by Laine.
Oh, tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was sick. Coast to coasty.
That might be one. That might be a goal of the year, to be honest with you. Well, not goal of the year, but that was really good.
Yeah,
because it was a Connor. I hate to say this to him. Hopefully, Patrick Laine doesn't hear this, but that was a very Conor McGregor type of goal that he did there. Because Oh yeah, because when he got drafted, he was like, I think I should go number 1. He thought that he was better than Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor or Conor McDavid?
Oh, Conor McDavid. Shit. My
we
bad.
We could have had him going the whole night.
You could have had me going the whole night, man.
But I didn't want you to start doing this thing.
Walking around like that. Yeah. Proper number 12.
I was a little confused.
That's all right. It's all good.
Yeah, Vit, that was a total Conor McDavid goal, man.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
It was.
He had a really good goal the other night. I mean, gosh dang, man, I want to go off onto the NHL because I just hate Columbus. I just think that they're just such a terrible organization. I don't think any guy on that team wants to play in Columbus. I mean, these were 2 bad games, to be honest with you. The Blackhawks they're fighting for their playoff lives. Bowman's trading, trying to stack up the farmhouse there, and pretty much thrown in the towel, like, hey, if we make it to the playoffs, whatever. And you've got guys on the team that are fighting and wanting to play hard and make it in. And Columbus is, they're just toiling there, to be honest with you. And I thought that there were 2 bad games. I mean, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. The Columbus Blue Jackets pretty much beat themselves. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, the Hawks won. And they got 4 points that they really needed. Nashville won yesterday, I believe, in overtime versus Dallas. That's murder. But their schedule is going to be getting really hard because they're going to be playing Carolina and Florida, and they have 3 games against the Hawks. And I'll tell you what, man, I think those 3 games, if both teams show up, I think that there could be some really exciting hockey. Justin, do you think that maybe it could be a preview of what the Hawks can do with that 3-game stand versus Nashville coming up at the
I sure as hell hope so. That's for sure. I mean, they're 2 points out of the playoff spot against Nashville right now. I mean, stat-wise, goal differential for the season, they're only a few goals behind them. They're both minus, so you know what you're getting. They're not necessarily the offensive juggernauts that they both once were. I think the fact that Nashville is not really relying on Rene anymore, they got they're not, I wouldn't call him a backup, but he's kind of taking the reins now, right?
Saros.
Saros has been playing amazing since, I think he was hurt earlier in the year. Since he came back, he's been playing really well. It's going to be do or die, right? And I mean, if I hope they crawl back in. I mean, like I said, I will happily eat crow. I know the last episode I said that they're not going to get back into a playoff spot, but
I'm getting it ready.
See. I'm gonna. You gotta eat my
I
hat,
agree.
Right?
I agree with you. I think the Hawks, they're going to just run out of runway.
I think the one thing, not to change subjects, but I think the one thing that's been kind of interesting, especially with today with the trade deadline, is from everything I've read, it seems like John McDonough, when he was with the team, he kind of was having his hands in the cookie jar a little bit, trying to make moves for the team, right? Like he was kind of influencing Bowman. From what I've read, I mean, who knows? That could be a bunch of crap. But if that's the case, some of those moves that Bowman made that didn't necessarily make sense, it makes you wonder, is that McDonough that was kind of a little more over influence than he had? But now Bowman has been promoted. He's got full, he calls all the shots. So now you're seeing him maybe rebuild in the way he wants to a little bit. That's giving me a little positivity if that's the case, because I'm not a Bowman guy to begin with. I know we've talked about that ad nauseum in the past, but
yeah.
I mean, it's been cool to see him kind of rebuild on the fly a little bit more. I don't know. It's going to be really interesting these last few weeks to see if they can really hang on. I don't know if they have it in them. A lot of these young guys really have to, pull themselves up by their own bootstraps, so to speak, and see what they're made of. But we'll see what happens.
What do you think, Matt?
Well, I don't know. I kind of, with what just said with McDonough, I could actually see that, because I think when McDonough first took over, remember the whole Havlat Hossa ordeal,
mm-hmm.
like when Dale wanted Havlat because he was the team MVP, and then McDonough wanted Hossa, which McDonough he
Smart
won that,
move.
and
Yeah.
yes, but you could be right about that, because Bowman is doing, he's doing stuff different. He's getting, picks and prospects, and that's what we need. So I got to give him a chance, I guess. I'm not a fan of him either. I'm a Dale guy. but I guess we got to wait and see what we're rebuilding on the fly, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
So we just got to be patient, I guess.
What do you guys think of the merit of this? I thought that from the summer when he said that there's going to be some changes, that it was going to be a full-on rebuild from the guts up. And to be honest with you, the team that he put together, I thought is a pretty talented team. It doesn't seem like it's a guts rebuild, but in a sense that it is. It's like a hybrid rebuild in a way. Do you think that this is the way for them to go, to have these somewhat ready type players with more guys in the, in Rockford just ready to come up?
Yeah, I mean, I think as long as you have Kane on the team and he's producing like a crazy man, like he is this season, you gotta at least use him and keep going, right? You can't throw in the towel. And if Taves comes back, that's even better. I mean, who knows how he'll come back? But I feel like you have pretty much one of the best American-born players we've seen in our lifetime, for sure. I mean, besides maybe Roenick or Hull, depending on how you want to debate that. But or Modano. I know Matt's real big Modano. So, I mean, I feel like, yeah, I mean, as long as you got some of these superstars still on the team, or in this case, just Kane, I mean, you might as well just kind of reload as opposed to tear it down. It's keeps the fans engaged. Yeah, we'll see. Because if they do a complete teardown, like not to switch sports, but like the Cubs did, all those people that have jumped on board with the Hawks for the last 10, 15 years, I think you're going to see a mass exodus of fans because they're not going to stick around for,
that's fine with me. I can
40-point seasons.
Yeah, exactly. Not miss anything.
I knew that was coming, man. I knew it. I knew that was coming.
Go back to saving electricity, turning off the lights in the sections nobody's sitting in.
I can go get some nachos and be done in a minute.
Maybe
those are the days.
Yeah. Maybe season ticket prices come back down from the clouds.
Well, mine were $450 I think in 2006 when I bought them, and people were like, "Why in the hell would you invest money in that?" And I'm like, "I just enjoy going,
Yeah.
And it kept going up and going up and going up, and then those same idiots are calling me for a game. I'm like, "Oh, okay,
yeah."
I see how it is, yeah."
All right, so moving forward, guys, where do you see the Hawks stay within the next week? We'll start with you, Justin.
I'd say they're still going to be outside looking in. I could see them maybe 2 to 4 points out. Maybe if Nashville has a game in hand, I'd have to look at their schedule, but I could see them still hanging on barely. I think this last game against Columbus, I feel like Columbus kind of imploded a little bit on themselves. I think that was more like Matt. I think it was Matt that said earlier. I think that was more Columbus losing than more the Hawks winning, I guess, to a certain extent. Yeah. I still keep waiting for Dallas to turn it on and like ratchet up the standings, but that hasn't happened yet. So I think 2 to 4 points out, looking up, but in the 5th spot at this point.
What about you, Matt?
Well, if you lose one against Detroit, that's it. I mean, they did their job. They beat the Jackets twice, and they're below us. We got to beat these guys. Same thing with Detroit. You can't go in there cocky. You got to play desperate and block shots, get ugly goals, and play full 60 minutes.
Yeah. It was nice to see Connolly get a goal tonight. Just kind of stepped right in and and contributed big time. So that was good to see.
I thought Stillman looked pretty decent too. I thought he played good in his own zone. I think he had one turnover that resulted in the first goal. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, he made a couple mistakes, but he recovered. And he actually looked like he has some offensive, he wants to jump in the play, which is what defensemen are now. There's really no guys that, and I'm playing D first, and they kind of want these guys to be thinking offense more than playing extra defense, in my opinion.
Right. He was jumping in more than I thought he would. That's for sure.
Yeah. I'm glad they gave him a shot.
For game one.
I'm glad they threw him in.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So moving on to the NHL trade deadline, we'll start off with the Hacks. Who did they pick up and who did they sign? Go ahead, Matt.
Oh, well, we traded Soderberg he's going back to his old team, the Avalanche. I think we just got a couple Oh no, actually, we didn't get picks. We got 2 prospects, Rollison and Dickinson.
Mhm.
I've never
Couldn't tell you anything about
I
him.
thought you said Rasmussen for a second. I was like, no.
Actually, and this is something I heard too. We traded Jan Mark, which I liked him.
I did too, man.
But I heard that he wasn't their first choice, Vegas. I know Vegas was in on Taylor Hall, and obviously Boston got him. And I was hearing Getzlaf was on Vegas's radar, and I think he's too loyal to the Ducks, and he didn't want to go. So they called the Hawks and got Janmark, and we got a 2nd-round pick for that, which is
that's not bad.
And a 4th, I think. I think we got
2nd and a 3rd, I think.
3rd for the 22.
Yeah, 3rd for the next year. Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
And then we traded just like minor trades. I thought Highmore and that Gaudette guy, is that him? Yeah. I don't know too much about the guy. And then that Bowie or whatever his name is.
Yeah. They traded him to Vancouver too, right?
Yeah. But hey, I think so far we won that Florida trade with getting Conley, Stillman, and then who's the other guy?
Borgstrom.
That's like the go-to that I think was the main deal. Yeah.
So far, I like that deal. That's good. We got some picks. And, we can't forget about Vinny, because I think since he's been in the lineup, there's been speed, and it's him and Kubalik look good together. They look like they've played together for a couple of years, actually.
I think they're like 5-2 since Vinny came on.
I don't like that he's wearing number 28. I don't think anyone should be wearing that number, but
no, that's Larmer's, right?
Yeah, it is, dude. And that number should be in the rafters, man.
So should 27. Quite honestly, it's just I know Roenick left on bad terms and probably should have said some things, but he's still, I think, was a great Blackhawk. And so
if they do retire Larmer's jersey ever sometime and the 28's up there, can we get like a little flag on the bottom that says, Mark Bell wore this number 2, or
in light of that, maybe when they hang Taves, we could say Tyler Arneson wore this number 2.
Or Denny Arkhipov, Tyler Arneson. Oh man, bunch of rough bums.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So it looks like the Hawks made some pretty decent moves. These are definitely Bowman moves. I think that I want to see how Borgstrom's going to work out. And to be honest with you, I thought seeing Stillman tonight that he did look very anxious to get into the play, and I think that's a good sign. Because
no Zadorov tonight either, Mike.
Yeah, I know, and that was a good thing. Do you notice that they won?
Well, he's pretty big. Stillman is kind of like, I was like, oh, Zadorov. Oh, wait a minute, that's not him. They're 2 tall, younger guys, and I don't know. I mean, I still like Zadorov. I think we should give him a shot, like a full season. I think he'd be a good player. It's hard to find defensemen that hit like him still. They're usually like Mitchell. That guy ain't gonna hit anybody.
Yeah.
So is that Colleton sending him a message saying he needs to play better, or what is that for the scratch tonight?
Maybe they thought they were going to trade him.
Yeah.
The thing is that
his name was out there too.
I mean, Zadorov can hit, but the thing is that Mitchell can pass and he can skate without falling over.
It's a good skill to have.
Those are skills. Those are important skills.
That's all I have to say.
All right. So Hawks are done. Let's move off to the rest of the NHL. I know you got something good for us, Matt. Let's go into the box. We'll go for a 10-minute misconduct today. What do you got, man?
It might be like a Domi penalty today.
Yeah, Domi headbutts. He headbutted the ref. We'll get a 10-minute misconduct.
Yeah.
What do you got, man?
Proud like old man Domi, and someone poured a beer on my head, so I had no choice. Oh well. Today there was 26 players that were moved. There were 17 total trades. It's one of like the lowest numbers since like 2000, I read. But in my opinion, I think the Leafs did the best today. I think. Okay. I think they did the best. They actually got Riley Nash last night, I think, right?
Wow.
Yes, they got Riley Nash, a couple days ago for a 7th round. They traded a 7th round pick in 2022, so that was, no big deal there.
Well, and then getting Nick Foligno, I think, is a very underrated captain. He's a player guy, and I know he's pumped to be on that team. He's going for a cup. They also got that David, how do you say it, Riddick or?
David Rittich, I believe. Does that sound right? Or is it Riddick? Maybe it is Riddick. I can't remember.
And he was going to be a starter, they thought there. And I think that was a smart move. And it just kind of tells you that Anderson's going to be out for a long period of time.
Yeah.
They got a pretty solid backup. And they did lose tonight against Jake Allen. Sorry, Just. That's pretty bad.
Not one of their finest moments, that's for sure.
And then I got some other notable trades. Mantha went to the Caps. I don't know what you guys think about that, but he was a top prospect for Detroit, and they thought he was going to be like a Sergei Fedorov like type of player.
I think the thing that I took away from that was I couldn't believe that Richard Panik was a part of that trade. I didn't even know he was still in the league. Yeah,
I didn't know that either.
Verana, or was it Jake? Yeah, or
Jacob Vrana or Jakub Vrana. Yeah. And then a first-round pick and a second-round pick in the following year. So, I mean, that's that. Like you said, man, if he pans out, even if he's half of what they thought.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, and then you guys probably heard Taylor Hall went to Boston for a second-round pick. People were like, a second-round pick? Why not a first? Because the guy's only got 2 goals and not New Jersey Devil Taylor Hall anymore.
Yeah.
But
and I think they retained a bunch of his salary for Boston too, didn't they? It wasn't like half the salary.
It's just they gave up permanently today. Like there's no hope. And they actually traded Monitor to Florida.
Steve Monitor?
No, not that guy. That guy's dead. Right? Am I right?
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
That's Mike for you. He's probably going to take over for Ekblad being hurt. I think he's going to be out probably the rest of the year.
Season, yeah.
And Tampa got David Savard, which is somebody I was hoping the Hawks would go for. But what are you going to do? Tampa's loading up again, getting ready to go. And the Avalanche actually got another goalie, Dubnyk, which I think was a good move for Sakic because they overplay that Grubauer a little bit, and he gets burnt out this round, and they're going for it this year too.
And their backup is pretty young, right? Is it Francois? I don't know how to say his last name, but
shut up. Or he let up. Let's see, 1 goal in 3 games with them.
Though, that's good.
I guess Dubnyk's just more insurance, but I thought it was a good for them.
Oh yeah, totally. Can't hurt.
You guys know about the Islanders trade with Palmieri and AJ. Palmieri scored a goal. He's already pitching in. But I thought the most underrated trade today was Jeff Carter going to Pittsburgh under the radar. I thought, okay, put this guy with good players. He could do some damage. He's got 2 cups with the Kings. He's got experience. I think that's a good trade. I know Mike hates him because he used to bleach his hair when he was on Columbus, and I don't blame him. But he's
that was only acceptable in high school, and he's long past high school. So
in the 90s.
Dude, I did not know that Steve Monitor died, man, from CTE.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he had a rough go at the end there. It's sad.
I didn't know that, man.
Yeah, you're a dick.
Yeah, I'm a dickhead of the day. You know what, man? It's unbelievable. You know that guys, go through that stuff. I mean, you love watching the game, and all that, but it's rough to see when you turn on the news and it's like, Bob Probert died, Steve Monitor died from injuries from playing, from playing professional sport. It's absolutely brutal.
I don't think Probert died from playing. I think Probert had another lifestyle that.
Yeah, he did. But
I know he obviously fought and he had damage, but I think
he had CTE, didn't he?
Too. Yeah, he also took a lot of OxyContin in the end. I don't know if you guys read his book. It's really good.
No, I haven't read it.
He had, I think he was taking like 6 OxyContins a day and drinking like.
Holy smoke!
Mix. That was his drink of choice at the end. He stayed away from the beer but his heart was pretty much so enlarged. It was just pretty much stopped.
Wow.
It's rough.
Yeah. It was a good book, though.
OxyContin, I'm not even going to get into that stuff. Go on ahead, Bat. Sorry, man.
Oh, no. Go ahead. I don't know if you guys, maybe I can ask you guys, what trade do you think is probably the best one for the team?
Are we talking just in general, the whole league?
Yeah, like the most, my opinion, the Jeff Carter, I think, was a pretty good trade for the Pittsburgh Penguins. I think, you put anybody like that with Crosby, I think the guy's his numbers are gonna go way up, and he's got playoff experience, and they're gonna make it. So I think it'll help a lot. I do like the Foligno trade too.
I think, not to be a homer, as I had my Leafs head on for a second there for the audio listeners. But yeah, I think the Foligno trade is awesome. You got a solid veteran, although I was looking up his stats. He's our age, Matt, so that's really depressing. He's 33, so he's my age, but I think he's got experience. He's a former captain. You know, he's been up and down with Columbus in terms of when they were riding high when they swept Tampa a couple seasons ago. He's been in the trenches. I think that's an awesome signing for a fourth liner. And I think, again, not to be biased, but that David Rittich, I'm going to have to learn how to say his name now that he's on the Leafs, but that's awesome because Anderson obviously is going to be out for a while. So you got Jack Campbell, who, by the way, is 11-0 now. But you got Rittich. Yeah, you got Rittich backing him up, who 2 years ago, he was like up and coming. He was 27-9 for Calgary 2 seasons ago, and he had like a 911 save percentage. So, I mean, if that's your backup, like I'll take that any day of the week, right?
That's very good. I was surprised when Calgary signed Markstrom from Columbus, Vancouver.
Vancouver, right? Yeah.
And it's what are they doing with this guy then? I mean, he pretty much got brushed away. So
I think that was good. The other thing, in terms of just trades in general, I think the thing that I found the most interesting was just how willing to part with draft picks the GMs were this season. I felt like it was even more so. And like Matt, you were saying how Hall got a second rounder, but then someone else got a first rounder, and then this guy got a third rounder for next year. But, you know, I was reading online, and it makes a lot of sense. They said this draft coming up is such a crapshoot because for the longest period of time with COVID, the scouts couldn't even go and watch these guys. So they're looking at tape or they're looking at Zoom calls, you know, with
kids didn't play. A lot of the kids
they didn't play, right? So I mean, if it's go time and you're a cup contender and you're going to throw out a first round pick, I totally get it. So I mean, if you're going to do it, this is the year to do it. So that was just something else I thought of earlier today. But
I think the Foligno signing the trade is probably the biggest, and for everything that you said. But I would say number one would be leadership and character. Mm-hmm. If you look up and down the lineup, there's a lot of young guys on there, and maybe Tavares doesn't know how to lead these really, really young guys. To be honest with you,
you might be right.
You have these young guys, and look at Foligno, dude. I mean, he looks like he can rip your head off. Do you know what I mean?
He's a playoff guy too.
Yeah,
and without a doubt.
He's going to walk into the locker room and demand respect, and it should be given to him, considering who he is. I think that's huge for the Maple Leafs, and that could be something that pushes them over. To be honest with you,
I did think it was funny. I saw on Twitter last night, was it when that trade was announced? He said something along the lines of, you know, Leafs fans. I grew up a Leaf fan, and they said, well, what's your worst memory of the Leafs? And he's like, the Gretzky high stick. I'm not a fan of Carey Fraser. And I'm like, that's awesome. I'm like, that's excellent. You just totally, all the Leafs fans are going to totally be on board with that guy now. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, they will be in the playoffs. If you look up his highlights in the playoffs with Columbus, that dude's gamer, man.
He turns it on in the playoffs. Yeah.
He's built for it.
For them.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Well, cool, guys. You guys got anything else?
No, I don't think so. I mean, ride this out, see how it goes, and hope for the best in terms of the Hawks. It's just it's exciting. You know, they were showing the calendar of the games left, and it's like a handful of games. It's going to be over before you know it, and we'll see where they end up.
We got a month left of hockey. You know, it's And to be honest with you, I love Hawks hockey, man. I love it. And just seeing, I don't really watch a lot. I mean, I do. I mean, I will watch some hockey, but seeing it on, it's like comforting to me, like in a way, you know. And when it's all over, it's like, gosh, dang, man. Now we got to wait until October for more hockey. You know, like this freaking sucks, because the baseball season just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. You know, we have about a month left of hockey. and or maybe more, depending on how it works out for the Hawks. But I think we've seen a team that has really punched above their weight limit, and they fought hard, and you can't really ask for much more. So I'm excited to see what they bring out, and hopefully they go out on their shield and not whimper out into the darkness. So that's all that we got for you guys today. We are releasing our podcast on audio only for our YouTube subscribers. If you are watching this, search us on your favorite app. We should be on there by the time you listen to this, and let us know what you think. Leave a message in the comments, and we'll get back to you guys. But until next time, this is Mike, Matt, and Justin. We're out.